Good evening. Welcome to the Vernon Township Supervisors meeting for November 4th, 2021. We'll start the meeting with Supervisor Snyder lead us in prayer.
Bless us as we gather today for this meeting. Guide our minds and hearts so that we will work for the good of our community and help all your people. Teach us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in face of difficulty, and wise in our decisions.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Ron.
Gary,
Here.
Byera,
Present.
Maloney,
There.
Snyder,
Present.
Smith. Here.
Okay, any citizen comment this evening? Yes, sir. You can, another 15.
Where would you like me?
The hot seat right there.
Hot seat.
Please introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Bill Kingset. I'm the owner of Whispering Pines Golf Course. We've been owners and operators since 1992, so almost 30 years now. And my purpose in coming here is just to kind of, at the last meeting that you guys had, there was an individual that came forth and spoke in reference to the fireworks displays that we held, and I would kind of like to give our opinion and our take on what we did and what we hope to do. My reason for being here is not to come in conflict with anybody. I'm not a controversial kind of guy. Our objective is to be good neighbors, and that means good neighbors to the township officials, means good neighbors to the people that live in adjacent properties to our golf course. So when we first decided we were going to have a concert series, the first person I contacted was Rob Horvath. And I came up and I met with Rob twice. I told him what we were going to do to try and find out what, things that we should be aware of, that I need special permits, those types of things. I came over and I had, over an hour's meeting with the Chief Detzel and Ray Collins. And they, put me in touch with a security firm, gave me some opinions as to what we should do, what we shouldn't do. We were very upfront with what we wanted to do from the very beginning. We said we're going to do, we hope to do fireworks on our opening night and our ending night. And in fact, I contacted our two closest neighbor. I contacted Dan Williams. I contacted Randy Kincaid. Personally, I spoke with Dan 3 or 4 times, and I see him regular. I called Randy, I think 3 times until I finally got a hold of him, and I told him what we were going to do. So he was well aware. I said, Randy, we're going to, the fireworks that we're going to have, our concerts are going to end at 10 o'clock. We're going to have a 10-minute display or a 10-minute show, and so that, they were aware, because I know they have dogs. And at the time, I thought that he had Great Danes at one time. And so I thought that, Great Danes can be kind of skittish and so forth. So at any rate, I was very upfront with, what we wanted to do. I was a little disappointed when I found out in the newspaper, someone called me up and said, hey, did you read about, the township considering a fireworks ordinance? And I said, no, I wasn't aware of that. So some of the things that were said during that meeting are not very accurate. So let me just point out what they are. And again, I'm not here to be controversial. I don't want to make, enemies with my neighbors, but we work really hard at putting on a nice event, an event that I think is beneficial to the community. A number of people here were there, and they can voice their opinion on what we did. The first thing he says in the article, and this is from the Monday, October 11th Meadville Tribune, says, we just can't have them, they're just too near my house, okay? When we hired a company called Pyrotechnico. Pyrotechnico is one of the nation's top fireworks companies, okay? They do everything by the book. They give us, as additional insureds, they give us a $10 million additional insured policy to cover anything that would happen. They also come out and they personally inspected where we decided we were going to shoot the fireworks off. The national standard is that we should have 75 feet of clearance for every 1 inch of mortar shell that would be used. Now, we never exceeded a 3-inch shell. So at that point, and these are national standards now, these aren't Pennsylvania standards, that would be 215 feet for a 3-inch shell. Later in the article, it says that Mr. Kincaid said that the fireworks were about 390 feet from his house. Well, I beg to differ. We lasered it, and it was over 600 feet from where we shot. We don't have any problem. If the townships decides that they want to put in a fireworks ordinance, I'm all for that. We don't have a problem. If we're going to do something, we're going to do it based upon the rules that you guys decide to do it. In fact, I've got tonight, I'll give to Rob an example. When we hired Pyrotechnica to do this, they said, do they have a permit process? And I said, I don't think so, but I gave them, the proper people to call and so forth. And they have sent, they've given me an example of a form that they send to townships and villages that don't have permits, just so that they can have the proper information and they're aware of who's shooting them off, who's responsible, who the contact people are, and so forth. So I've got 3 of those copies, or 4 of those I want to give to Rob tonight. They've got a certificate of registration from the state, but as far as their certifications, the people that they come out and do the actual shoot for them, in some cases are subcontractors, but all have their state certifications. And those guys have to have so many continuing, CEU credits every year to shoot them off. So these guys are, paid professionals to shoot them off. So I'm not against a fireworks ordinance. One of his complaints was that he said it impacted his dogs. Now, prior to our last concert, I typed up a letter that I personally signed and I hand-delivered to everybody on Cotton Road, including Mr. Kincaid's house. I had a beautiful conversation with his wife for about a half an hour out front. I should have done it years ago, but I talked to her, Donna is her name, talked to her for 30 minutes. And, I met all the 3 of the rescue dogs that she has. And I said, I gave her the story. I said, our concert ends at 10 o'clock. It's going to be a 10-minute show. It's done, electronically by computer, so there's no question that it's a 10-minute show. We choreographed music to it. The choreographed music's 11 minutes. And I said, I hope that your dogs aren't too sensitive to the music. And her response to me was, doesn't bother them at all. And I said, really? I asked her again. I said, so the fireworks doesn't bother the dogs? She goes, no, they're not bothered by it at all. And so the letter that I gave to everybody on that street, and there was only one person on the street at the very far end, the farmhouse, that I wasn't able to talk to personally. The letter invited them to the concert. All they had to do was submit the letter when they came to get tickets. It was good for 2 VIP seats, including drinks, to come and my appreciation, our appreciation for putting up with, the fact that we had to close the road on that night. But so, I don't know how it got put in here that his dogs were injured or anything like that, but the conversation that I had with his wife was very different than what appeared in the newspaper. So if he would have called me up on the telephone and said, Bill, I've got an issue with this, or came to see me, I would have considered moving the fireworks. In fact, we may do that anyways, because where we shoot them up, if you're sitting in, where the stage was located in front of our ponds, you don't get a real good visibility of what they call the cakes, the lower fireworks. So we're thinking about moving them aside, but I'd be happy to do that. Again, if somebody gives me the same courtesy I extend to them, I'm willing to do whatever I can. So my point tonight was just to let you know, we want to work with the township. We think that the event that we're putting on, we're bringing in people from outside communities. They're coming in from Pittsburgh, they're coming in from Erie, they're coming in from east sides of Cleveland, and we're bringing in revenue. We're working on doing another series again this year. We hope to be bigger and better. We're going to keep the weekends about the same number, probably about 7 Friday nights, but we hope to maybe add some Saturday shows. I've already contacted the Erie Philharmonic, so we hope to have them in sometime maybe in August. But was just to kind of give you an idea of what we did in trying to put on an event. We tried to do everything that we thought we could possibly do to make sure that we're following the proper rules. And again, I'm not opposed to a fireworks ordinance, but we by far exceeded what would have been on any normal ordinances. So that's all I got to say.
Any questions? I heard great things about the concerts too, and just to let you know that the board wanted to work with you. We agreed to close the road, and I want to work with your business. This is unfortunate, that we have this misunderstanding with Mr. Mr. Kincaid. But next year, are you still planning to continue to be closing the road?
Well, it's a good point. It wasn't my desire or intent to close the road. That was really precipitated with the Liquor Control Board, and we've been given a different opinion, by the, my attorney as to that might not be necessary. Now, it might be nice to limit the traffic, but I'd like to make it so that we don't have to close it as an aspect of the event. For safety purposes, it might be nice, but I don't want to inconvenience the people there. And I think ultimately, Dan Williams even wrote Rob Horvat a letter about how, we had some differences of opinion, in the very beginning. And I talked to Dan a number of times, and we came to a means of accommodating everybody. And after the last concert was over, he commended me. He stopped by and took time and said, you guys did a nice job. It was very organized. He was pleased with the security who was there. We had a security guy parked, right across from his driveway so that nobody was coming in and going out. And so,
well, I know the fireworks company you had is definitely top notch. I mean, I think they do the Super Bowl. And
they do some pretty. They did the fireworks for downtown Pittsburgh this year, July 4th.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, it's definitely top notch firm. But I didn't know anything about fireworks. I asked somebody that I know that this is, and do they have such a thing as like a silent?
They have a what?
Silent display where you don't have all the bangs and everything?
Well, they're starting to get into laser shows. They're starting to do that, and that's a separate division that they have.
Because I read that a lot of countries in Europe are going to, not the big bangs, just the display, which that's really all I see. Is most people don't like the bangs, or a lot of people like them. My wife in particular. So. There are people that just don't like the bangs, but like to see the color.
Since we started doing this, one of the things that I took liberty to do is contact some over in Ohio. A lot of the townships and municipalities are the ones that actually have the amphitheaters and are the ones that are putting on these summer concert series and so forth. And quite frequently, the townships become, some of the primary sponsors of the events. And I'd like to think that because of, we're putting that the township might consider, I'll give you some advance warning, we'd love to approach you at partnering with us possibly on some type of sponsorship for our event, because we're doing it for the good of the community, providing an event. Vernon Township isn't shooting fireworks off for the community. And so something I'd like to, have you think about.
Well, yes, thank you for letting us know that.
Now, you mentioned Friday and maybe Saturday, too. You wouldn't do it 2 nights in a row.
We would.
You would Friday night and Saturday.
Yeah, and the idea being is that I think we're going to try and follow and be fairly consistent with the types of groups that we bring in on Friday nights And on Saturday, we're thinking about straying a little bit and maybe doing some all-day events. One of the ideas that we are going to consider is maybe an all-day car show with finishing out with the concert. Again, the Saturday night would probably be the night that we bring in the Erie Philharmonic and doing some of those. And it'll probably only be 3 or 4 Saturdays. But the benefit to us is that the amount of effort that it takes to put on a concert just for Friday night, and then you've got to tear everything down, or the tents down, and the bars and the seating, and we're doing fire pit rentals and seats and stuff like that. That would be reduced if we did it on Saturday night. So I would rather have. It's nice having a week or two in between some of our concerts to promote the following week, and also just from being able to relax and wind down a little bit. So that's our intent right now. We're putting together our calendar right now. So
Sounds great. Any more questions?
Township might be limited to what they can sponsor or something of that nature, I'm not sure. We're severely limited on what we can spend money on, I know that. So before next year, we want to look into that.
I'm giving you some advance notice. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Anyone else for citizen comments? All right. Approval of the minutes for the October 7th, 2021 regular meeting.
I'll make that motion.
A motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Finances. Motion to direct treasurer to issue checks for the approved vouchers due for payment.
So moved.
Motion, and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Motion to ratify payroll for the employees from September 27th, 2021 through October 23rd, and the supervisors pay. So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Correspondence, Rob?
There's no correspondence at this time, but the letter that Dan Williams wrote to me, I did provide with you guys, so it should be in your box. So.
Yes. Thank you. I remember getting that. Brings us up to police report. Chief Detzel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, everyone. Tonight, what I have is the monthly report of the Vernon Township Police Department for the month of October 2021. For the month, we answered a total of 144 calls for service, bringing our yearly total to 1,562. We had 14 motor vehicle accidents. We had 7 traffic stops for violations, infractions of the vehicle code, with 3 citations issued and 4 warnings. We had a court attendance at our district court right across the street at Judge Lincoln Zillhaver's office. We had 3 criminal hearings in the month of October. We traveled a total of 2,752 miles patrolling the township. And a couple of things I just want to go over real quick are, again, folks, at night, if your car is outside and you have anything in your car of any value, I suggest locking the cars at night. We still have cars that are being entered, and what it is, they're not breaking in the car because they're not damaging the car. The car's on lock, they're opening the car and they're going through the car. And unfortunately, things end up toss and turn, and there's no way a lot of times to actually catch these people without somebody seeing them or a camera system, so please keep your cars locked. Again, scams are doing well. People are coming up and they're calling us and they're saying that they've won money and things, but they didn't enter a contest and they want money from them. Don't answer any of those. Call us. We'd be more than happy to look into them for you. On October the 20th, we participated in the national Operation Safe Stop Detail. And what that is, that was the focus in the morning and in the afternoon on the school buses. We covered all of our basic roads right here. We were on Pennsylvania Avenue, 322, Cussalago Road, and I'm happy to say that we really didn't have any violations that day. So we were out and we participated in that. And then in participation last week, again, I got to go out and myself and one of our officers went out and we were passing candy out to the trick-or-treaters, and it was a good experience, and we covered a lot of the township that night and gave out a lot of candy, and it was fun visiting with the kids and with their parents, and just like the report, it was a successful night. So that's pretty much our report for this one.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions?
Anything get any better with the, like on 322 with the buses and the oncoming lanes with no dividers?
Yeah, what we've been doing is, we're trying to show the folks on 322 especially, without a divider wall or anything, it's confusing a lot of times because they think that it's a 4-lane road, and if the bus is on the east side and they're going west, or if the bus is on the west side and they're heading east, they don't have to worry about stopping. Not the case. We actually have been out when we can, and we're running with the bus, and when the bus puts its red lights on, we're flipping our red and blue lights on, so people get the idea that, you know, something's going on, stop, because it is a hefty fine if you violate that. So hopefully, main thing is we don't want any children injured, of course, and we hate like heck to give somebody a citation, because they're all going to result in a pretty hefty fine and a loss of license for a period of time, so it's important that we watch that.
Anyone else? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we have road report, Ludwig Binsky, road management.
Thank you, Chairman Maloney. Good evening, Supervisors. October road report as follows. Mowed some berms, patched some potholes, boom mowed brush on Danoon, Bowman, Williams, McMath, Murray, Woodrow, Lee, Stevens, Woodside, Carline, Bailey, and Johnson, Car Hill, and Hager roads. Spent about 14 days doing that. Checked roads on the 18th, the 21st, the 22nd, and 29th. I cleaned up dead trees and limbs on West Vernon, Swamp, South Watson Run, Keyword Hill, Sportsman, Carline, and Van Horn roads. Cleaned some clogged pipes on West Vernon, Sportsman, and Cotton roads. Salisbury Township brought their paver in, helped us pave over the Car Hill Road cross pipe. Burn repair and ditch bank rehab on Danoon Road. Under sign maintenance, the new stop sign at Bailey Road and Route 19 intersection. Repaired Carline and Woodside sign at the intersection. Spread gravel and repaired washouts on Sportsman, Putnam, Williams, Swamp, Van Horn, and Johnson roads. Tore down the old dugouts and rebuilt 4 dugouts at Lincoln Avenue Sports Complex. Scott and Bob did a tremendously great job there. About 15 days worth of work down there. It wasn't all 15 days. Some days it was raining, they couldn't work full days down there, so but that's what I had down. The road department and Rob attended the LTAP Roadside Safety Features 5-11 training class on the 14th here at the Township Building from 8 to 12, I'm sorry. Under equipment maintenance, truck 2, state inspection, new muffler, and 2 new air tank brackets. Truck 4, new left front headlight. Truck 21, built a new grind bar frame, mobile column, installed the 2-way radio, and we had Ross Carroll come in and weld stainless steel brackets on the dump bed. On the John Deere boom mower, we greased, and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Moving on to administration report.
Good evening,
Administration zoning, Rob Corbett, I'm sorry, Rob.
Very fine. Good evening, Supervisors. Tonight I'll be giving the management and zoning report for the month of October. I'll start off tonight with zoning. As we discussed at our work session, there's a land development up for approval. It's a Starbucks coffee shop located at 18471 Smock Highway. This project has been reviewed by both the Township and County Planning Commissions. It is recommended for your approval tonight, contingent upon satisfying all the engineers' comments. This land development is a welcomed addition to the township and will add another vibrant business to the township. Administratively this month, we completed our general fund budget and all our auxiliary budgets. They're before you tonight for advertisement for review and approval at the December meeting. A few highlights include plans for a new roof and HVAC units for the township office building, a paving project for Carline, Woodside, Ontario, and Superior Streets, a new 2022 international dump truck. Our capital improvement fund is now in excess of $1 million, and significant recreation improvements at Roach Park, all of which are occurring without a tax or fee increases for 2022. Also this month, I attended the French Creek Council of Governments quarterly meeting. Northwestern Rural Electric Cooperative Association was the featured speaker and gave some insightful information about solar power on both residential and commercial farms. This is an emerging issue for zoning, and it was good to hear from an electric company their take on it. Finally, once again, as Lund mentioned, hats off to Scott and Bobby with getting those dugouts done. They look great. We have 2 more to do. Really hoping for an early spring. We can maybe get those last 2 finished before next softball season and have all new dugouts down there. And that's my report for tonight.
Thank you, Rob. Any questions for Rob? Thank you. Moving on to engineer report. Ashley.
You have a motion?
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion, I'm sorry. Motion to approve Starbucks land development at 18471 Smock Highway, contingent upon addressing township engineers' comments.
So moved. Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Now we can have our engineer report. Ashley, thank you.
Good evening, Supervisors. I got a brief report this evening. We do continue to work with businesses for expansion in the township. Looks like we might have some projects for next year, which is good news. Also wanted to report that although the township municipal building entrance hasn't started physical work yet, the contractors continue to coordinate their schedules. There's been some issues with the electrical heating, no significant issues, but the electrical heating has to be coordinated between the electrical contractor and the general contractor, so we don't want to get anything torn up before we had everything lined up. That scheduling's coming together. We'll see work shortly. That's all I have to report.
We did get past election day.
We didn't have to, that's right, it wasn't an issue, so there's a good side to it.
Well, we did have snow yesterday morning, so it's coming. Winter's quickly approaching. Any questions for Ashley?
Do you have any idea when Meadville Medical Center, the road going back from?
Yes, it's nearly complete. The remaining work is the light poles. And the light poles are, there's lights on either side of the road. On the side where the sidewalk is, there's shorter ornamental lights. Those are in. And the lights on the other side are due, I believe, November 19th. So should be wrapping up the work here in the coming months.
We moved that along pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, the weather kind of forced everybody to keep things moving, and we got a local contractor, Gilday Group, working on that project. Did a really nice job, good to work with, and I think it'll be a significant improvement.
Fill it up back there.
Yeah. So what that project is, it's a good comment, is not only did it improve the roadway, but it constructed the stormwater management facilities for the future development of the former plant place lot. So just moving things closer to development and making it easier for folks to come into the township and build their projects.
I'm sure having the local company do it, move things a little quicker and smoother.
It is.
Then you know, describe fire. By the airport.
Anything else for Ashley? Thank you. Solicitor's report, Jeff Millen, Schaefer Law Firm.
Good evening, Supervisors. As usual, it's a pretty short report tonight because things are running smoothly in the township, and just working with Rob occasionally when he needs to call me for various items. But other than that, things are going well, and we haven't gotten into any particular bad legal issues, so that's all good.
Thank you, Jeff. Any questions for Jeff? All right, moving on. New business. Motion to advertise Vernon Township 2022 budget for approval at the December 2nd meeting. So, the motion?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you. Motion to approve Resolution 2021-18, revision of Township 537 plan for small flow treatment facility at 16542 Rogers Ferry Road.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Motion to approve Resolution 2021-19, the employee wage and salary scale.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Motion to approve secretarial agreement with Vernon Township Water Authority.
So moved.
Motion,
Second.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. We do not have any old business, no, moving along. Upcoming meeting, December 2nd, 2021, Vernon Township Supervisors Work Session at 6:30 PM. And following that meeting will be the Vernon Township Supervisors meeting at 7:30 PM. Both meetings are December 2nd. And then December 16th, 2021, Vernon Township year-end meeting at 4 PM. Which shows our year's almost over. This time we'll have supervisors' comments. Start with you, Gary.
Well, it's fall and the weather's changing. We've had snow already. I would just caution everybody to remember some of the roads are going to be slick in the morning, especially on the bridges. So take care driving back and forth to work or wherever you're going. And have a really good Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Gary. Joe?
I think I want to take the time to, I can't believe Thanksgiving is already here. I wish everybody a safe and happy holiday. For those of you that hunt and fish and enjoy the outdoor activities that they are please be careful. So there aren't any unnecessary accidents. And for those that enjoy indoor activities, I think I just want to give a little bit of an advertisement to the Crawford County Coin Club having a coin show November the 7th from 10 to 3. It's usually an interesting evening.
Thank you, Joe. Chris?
I just wanted to wish everybody a nice holiday for sure here, Thanksgiving, and then we'll go right into Christmas. But I also want to give a shout out and thank you to Rob and all the department heads on the work they did on preparing the budget for this year. They make it very informative to us. It's easy to follow and understand, and it's great that the township can go another year with no tax increase. 2 mills, that's pretty amazing for the area here. It's a great thing there, great benefit that we have here in Vernon Township.
Thank you, Fritz. Greg?
I'd like to thank Bill for coming up and maybe giving us a little clarity on what's going on. I really believe that concert series is a good thing for the community. It's something new, and there are a few, I guess, hiccups along the way, but surprisingly went off without a hitch. I would say for something new, probably never really done so much around here before. But I mean, you always can't keep everybody happy. But thanks for coming up, giving some clarity. Maybe we can work through some of the issues and continue to do that. And as far as I guess the holidays are here, Thanksgiving and all that stuff. So watch out for the roads and stay safe. That's all I got.
Thank you, Greg. I'd like to thank Starbucks for coming this evening and for the subdivision land development and for considering Vernon Township. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be excited about that. And Veterans Day is November 11th. Please remember veterans on November 11th, and Thanksgiving is coming up. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And personally, I'd like to thank everyone for their support on Election Day, and proud to be able to continue to serve the township. With that, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Motion and second. What'd you say?